Pursuant to MGL C-38, paragraph 20F, after notifying the chair of the public body, any person may record or transmit this open meeting. This hybrid meeting is being recorded by the town of Stockbridge. The names of members participating remotely will be announced. Any member of the public wishing to speak must first receive permission from the chair. That's me. The agenda items listed are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, but not all may be discussed, and other topics not listed may be brought up for discussion by the public body as permitted by law. Okay, now let's just, I'm Laura Dubester, and I'm the chair of the Stockbridge Green Communities Committee, and we've been working on weatherizing our buildings and other ways to guide the town in its municipal operations to become more energy efficient and reduce greenhouse gases. I would say we were approved as a green community in 2015. And we'll get on to the next topic in a second. And Neil.
Neil Weber, I'm a new member.
Okay. And a background in education.
Background in education. Recently retired.
Okay.
Steve Aberbush, I've been on the committee about a year or so, I guess. I don't know. And retired. I'm a physician.
And like Steve, I've been on the board, the committee here for about a year. Retired, an engineer, formerly working in the energy industry.
And then pursuant to whatever it is, you have to please introduce yourselves.
Yep. Mark Capadona, Colonial Power, hoping to retire one day.
Okay.
Highly recommend.
Denise Allard. Go ahead. Denise Allard, also from Colonial Power.
And both Mark and Denise are with Colonial Power, which is managing our municipal aggregation.
Correct.
So
and
I think,
just for the record, we're at 5 Mount Royal Ave, Marlborough, Mass. 01752.
I missed that. What?
It's just our address. Normally, people want their address, so it's 5 Mount Royal Ave in Marlborough, Massachusetts. 01752.
Got it. Okay. Let's just take care of the minutes. Did everyone have a chance to review the minutes from the August meeting?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any additions, corrections? Thank you always, Tim, for making them better.
Thank you for originating them. I have no comments.
Okay.
They were fine.
I'll entertain them. Anyone want to move that they be to approve them?
So moved.
Steve, okay. A second?
I'll second.
Neil, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Okay, now this is really the meat of the meeting, because after that, it's updates, which aren't any different from the updates probably in August. I mean, we can go through them very quickly, so we should have a pretty efficient meeting. But I think that it's great that you guys are here, because now I understand that people here have, I guess, just to know sort of where we are. I mean, my sense is that it starts in November, but everyone's received a postcard if National Grid has their address.
Yeah, correct. So the program's been up and running. There'll be a rate change in November depending on, there's 3 different options. Same as before, the rates for those, that the standard default as 25% more mass class 1 or local recs in it at 14,750. You could go to an optional green at 15,750, or kind of the Cadillac, which will give you 100% mass class 1s. And this is for the next 3 years, 25 through 28, November of 25 through November of 28. And that would be 16,448 for that 100% mass class 1, starting with your November meeting read. You'll see it on your bill in December.
16.448.
That's for the 100%.
Right. So it's up to, it's 3 digits. It's to the thousandth of a.
It actually goes all the way out 5 digits. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. I think what I wanted to ask 2 things. I want to make sure I haven't actually called. Remind me of who the supplier is.
So,
Current supplier is Direct Energy, but you'll be switching to First Point Power.
correct.
You're
Exactly.
switching to,
First Point Power with the November meter reads.
okay, I think I have bad hearing, but I'll find out what it is. Tim, can you turn it up one more? Oh, you got that. One little dash for my benefit. Great. Okay, so you got that.
I got the postcard.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
and Laura, I would just say, I know you and I talked about addresses and how we have to use the National Grid mailing addresses, and I know folks have PO boxes in town. So if you look at your current National Grid bill under the supplier, right, and you're still going to see Direct Energy because the switch doesn't happen until the November meter read. So if you look under your supplier and it says Direct Energy Stockbridge aggregation. You're enrolled, so you will be automatically moved over, even if you didn't get the postcard. That's how you know if you're in. So if you look and see that, if you see some other supplier, it doesn't say Stockbridge aggregation, then you're likely not enrolled. And if you want to opt in, you can through the town's website to our website or colonialpowergroup.com/Stockbridge. You can either call us or you can go online with your National Grid bill and just opt in if you so choose.
right, I called National Grid. I mean, I changed my address, so everything should be good in the future. So I did that online. And I thought when I went to the Colonial Power, our community's Stockbridge, it has the Rhode Island supplier listed there.
It does.
And it has the three choices.
Right. The website's been updated, but if you look at your current bill, right, you're billing for the prior month. So that's why.
I don't even see it on my bill. I get it electronically and I don't see anything. I mean, it doesn't really have that on it. But when I've called before, they've said, yes, I'm enrolled for 100%.
Correct.
So
Yes.
if you look down on your second page, Laura, you should see the supplier, and it should say Direct Energy. At this point, it should say Direct Energy on your bill. On the supplier, under the supplier section, it's page 2 though. You need to go to.
Okay, I'll look at that, and if it's not there, I'll email it to you. But I know that when I've called them, they've found it and they've said that I'm in.
You're 100%. You're enrolled. So yeah, it's just
I know that
the delivery stuff is up at the top. So you got the delivery charges and all that.
So I think one of the things that our committee is looking at, which we've been doing, I think one of the ideas is to really also we've really guided the town on this. I mean, this is Michael's initiative and he's very, he's been involved with the community aggregation for many years. I was involved with it when I was working, and we were really advocating for the municipal aggregation as part of the deregulation. And we were successful. It was pretty much of a fight, but we got it. So that was good. And then the question was, how can we make that community, that supply, as green as possible or as clean as possible? So it's not just as cheap as possible, but can we make it so that it's moving the whatever it is, the needle forward or whatever we're moving to increase the amount of renewables in our grid. And I think I've actually come to feel very much more comfortable with it. But the question was, should we as a committee do a little bit more community education and awareness, hoping that if people understand a little bit more how they can make a difference, that more people will move to 50% or 100%. And I think all of us want to make sure that we really have a good understanding of the benefits for people who can afford it, to make that decision. So I think I can come up with my bullet points and we can all come up with our bullet points, but we want to make sure they're accurate and they're clear and we're accomplishing what we are going to let people know we're going to be accomplishing. So that's why I wanted to bring you here. Are there any other questions about that?
Well, one question I have, and Laura, thank you for the information that you sent. I had seen in the newspaper where Great Barrington was offering the same, well, offering aggregation, but the rates were different. And Laura explained to me that the basis for their rates is different. And perhaps you could explain how towns aggregate differently? Does that make sense?
100%. So in Great Barrington, they have a different approach for their aggregation. They have a meats product that is 13.7. Now, the reason yours is higher at that, and I want to make sure I'm telling you the right, at that 14.7 is because your product has 25% more mass class ones. And let me just take a half step back. I mean, a half step, just so that you understand kind of the lineage here. So all the communities go out together, but Denise has put this aggregation together to give full flexibility. So there's only two things that you have to agree on. One is the supplier and two is term. And then each community gets what product they want. So anyone that would have been a national grid community for at this time that had a meats product would have gotten the same price as Great Barrington. That was 13,750. Anyone that wanted to have 25% mass class ones would have had the 14,750. That was their price. You went out together, so you shared a load profile, if you will. We combined all the towns together, and they just agreed going in that they will agree to one supplier and one term. And it felt like at the time, given the current federal administration, they'd like to stretch it out about as far as they could go. I don't disagree. The market has not yet begun to run, but everything I read, shows me I think prices rise in the future. So they've set a hedge that helps protect customers, from the top, if you will. Nobody in Stockbridge is going to need to pay more than 14.7 in the next 36 months for any reason. They can always go to this price. Now they're buying at 25% more local renewables. That shouldn't be seen as a bad thing. Does that
and if
help?
you look at Williamstown, for example, I know Laura, you and I talked about, they have the 25% more, same price, right? Both National Grid.
Yep.
14. Yep. So.
Right. So I want to say that Michael, maybe we had talked, I think what he did actually was continue what we had for this year. Is that right?
Yes,
Yep.
same product.
He
That is correct.
continued that. So I think we have better close that door, Miles, because we're loud. I think that's what we had and that's what he chose to continue. He didn't come back to us, but yeah, I mean, what Great Barrington did, that's sort of the minimum. That's what everybody and any aggregation is required to have. And then for Stockbridge, we chose to have everybody is going to have a little bit more renewables. And so it's a penny more. And hopefully that's not going to be a problem. I think it's, we're still about, on the average person, I think we're still about $4 for right now, less than the National Grid standard offer. I think the one thing that I know is that the utility company, you're going to correct me, has to go out to bid every 6 months for supply. So that's why you get that, the bumps.
Twice a year.
It could be reductions, but in general, it's been bumps. And now I think it's maybe a little bit more stable than it was. But we have the 3 years. So as Michael says, we're mostly offering stability. No guarantees.
And I should tell you, full disclosure, believe it or not, Michael Canales in a prior life was the one who started the Berkshire aggregation when he was up in North Adams as the assistant to the mayor or what have you, in development. He literally, I worked with him to start this aggregation a long time ago, maybe 10 plus years ago.
I think so. He's very appreciative of that and very proud of his role in doing that. So that's, I think that's great. And an advocate, he wanted Stockbridge to do that. And it took a while for everybody to kind of get on board and be ready and get everything approved. I mean, we've been in process for probably 3 years with our application to the DPU and getting it approved and going out to bid. So that's how the wheels turn here.
Thank you, Mark and Denise and Laura.
Yes, no, that's great.
We introduced Miles?
Yeah, Miles, we all just went around the room and said names and,
Yep, sorry, I'm late. Miles Moffett. I'm on the Green Committee for a couple years now, at least. Yep.
and a few more than a couple, yeah.
Yeah.
And you're also an engineer.
An engineer. Yeah, I worked in power, but more recently work in water and wastewater, design, construction services. So
Yeah.
facility stuff in general. Yeah.
Yeah, so we just keep, our committee really just wants to keep learning about the issues so that we're informed, so that we can give good information and guidance to individuals in the town. And this is one of the most complicated things, I think, understanding a rec, what is a rec? And then really saying like, okay, it's such a mysterious whatever, it's, as you say, Denise, it's a financial transaction. So how do all these financial transactions end up moving the grid or influencing the grid, or, how does it make a difference when more people switch to 100%? And I've kind of like, by going to Google and reading everything, I'm much more comfortable with it. But I think it would be great to kind of come up with, you can probably maybe help with the wording or check on some wording, and Williamstown has some, but just sort of what are those points that that we could be making?
So, and I just want to be really cautious about how we say it and how we talk about it, because I think everyone has a little bit of I'll use the word misnomer about the ability of a rec to create additionality. And that has to do with certain people in the business that they're rec brokers, right? And they want to move recs. And by making people think buying recs creates additionality, it, in a sense, it says, hey, it would be a straight supply and demand, meaning, hey, if I needed more recs, it would create the supply community to create the demand would create the supply, right? Unfortunately, it's not a one-for-one balance on the scale. And I'm going to start right from the beginning, meaning, yep, rec, financial transaction. Let's just say it's a solar array or a windmill, if you will, and they create 1 megawatt. They get paid for the megawatt of electricity, and they also create this financial security that they can sell for a certain price. It's called a renewable energy certificate. That comes with a price. Now, the state of Massachusetts puts some boundaries around what I'll call those renewable energy certificates. They say, as a retail supplier, you have to buy some renewable energy certificates. And let me just do this. I think this would be helpful for me to have up while I'm talking, because I'm gonna leave what I'm going to tell you is going to be a little bit different. I just want to see if I can share my screen.
Okay. Oh, I don't know if I have to let you, and I don't know how to do it.
We could try.
Just try it.
Try it.
Then we can
Okay.
come over there.
Maybe it's going to tell you that you can let me or something.
Well, we have to go over there. We're in the selectman's office. And let me just, before I forget this question,
Yes.
I want to try to see if there's a way that the supplier can let us know some of the projects that are included in their product. I think that would be interesting and helpful.
So the answer is, when the dust settles, Laura, the answer is 100%.
Okay.
100%. But, and again, I hope to get there, because it doesn't work exactly the way you'd think it would work. Like, hey, I'm buying these recs along with the power. The rec market is mutually exclusive, meaning I have electricity and I have to shape that power, but I need to settle up with the DOER on an annual basis, which is in June for the following year. So in 2025, I settle up with those recs in June of 26, all the megawatts. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think Denise explained it to me that we choose our product.
Yep.
And then if like we all buy 100%, we're not buying them at the moment. They'll actually get purchased in 9 months, kind of in back, how many did we use? And then they're going to purchase the RECs for what we did. But that seems, in the big picture, 6 months, 9 months isn't a big deal.
Nope. But I'm saying to you, we would know what they bought for 24 right now. Yep.
Oh, got it.
You know what I'm saying? Because they had to
Yes.
buy those in 25. But
Right.
we do not know what gets bought for 25 until 26.
Got it.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to take the next step. So, and I apologize. I wish I could have shared my screen.
You can't share?
Yeah, if, Mark,
get it.
Try it again.
if you try again, we have a button here we can push that
All
may
right, we'll
work
try again.
or not.
Try it again and
I just did.
someone's going to press buttons.
Yep.
Share screen. There it is. Go down, desktop, can you go down to share screen?
I think that's for us to share, but I'll click it.
Mike, normally if you go over on the right-hand side and go to me, like you go to participants and you
Right.
right-click on it, it says, allow to share under Mark Capadona as a participant.
Yeah, but I don't think we're quite on that same kind of Zoom. No.
Yeah, look at that.
Wow.
Who knew?
Hello.
Yeah, but that's us. It's not him.
No. Okay, let's try it again. Or we'll just do it without it. We don't know how.
Yeah, which is fine. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world.
Well,
Again, I can
Okay.
shoot it out. It's on our website if you wanted to bring it up. I can show you how to get there, but it's not a big deal. But I just want you to know. So with energy, there's two components. There's something called RPS. That's the
Right.
Renewable Portfolio Standard that every retail supplier has to buy. You have to buy that, right? I'm required to buy, so in 2025, 27% mass class ones. I'm required to buy that to meet my RPS. 6%,
I'm sorry, is that 27%?
27% mass class ones.
And that's all suppliers, or is that for National Grid specifically?
All suppliers serving retail load in Massachusetts.
Okay, it's 2025 is 27%. Okay.
Yes. I need to, what I'll call is that a clean, there's another 3% of clean generation. And, if you want to know what that clean generation is, wind, solar, landfill gas. Now, landfill gas, people don't think of that as a renewable, but because of the way it's generated, the breakdown of other materials, it goes on and on and on and on. So they consider, this isn't us, this is the DOER that says that's a mass class one. So you may see on many landfills, that's that would be one of those landfill gas. You see all the pipes sticking out of them? They're taking those and they put them into what they call a recip. It's just a small generator and they generate electricity from it.
Great.
And
It's better than venting.
that 1000% very good. And the reason I'm saying that's methane gas, and that's the worst you can do is dump that in. So it truly is a better way to go about it. And again, that's 3% in 20 and 25, and then the total for the clean energy standard is 30%. That's a 27, and the 3%. Then there's the clean energy. I just want to make sure I'm telling you this correctly. It would be give me 1 second here. The clean energy standard, which is old, right? It's large hydro and nuclear. They just won this, and that I think this is a little bit of a make us look better. But so all the old hydro in Maine, many in New Hampshire as well, and any nuclear RECs, that's 26% in 2025. And then we have class twos, which
Let's go back to class one for 1 second.
sure.
Because let's just take our aggregation. I mean, I'm a little bit confused about the numbers. I don't know if we have to know every number, but one of the things about our aggregation is, as I understand it from Denise, is that biomass is not included because a lot of the towns are concerned about cutting down forests or, creating energy out of forests. So that's, I would say, a positive thing that ours is wind, water, solar, and landfill would be the recs.
You're 100% correct. That was part of the RFP that they were not going to use biomass.
So Laura, can we just step back? I mean, we're
Yeah.
into the weeds here.
This is, okay, we can
And
step back.
I'm trying to understand what we need to know as a committee and what we're trying to do with the information. Okay. So you and I talked before the meeting about, do we want to participate or lead some kind of educational campaign for our community to provide incentivization based on education and information for them to up their option to 50 or 100. I mean, that was sort of where I thought we were going with this. And then now, as a dumb physician scientist, you just got to give me, what am I getting for my money? For if I'm going to opt up. And then what do I need to do and where do I see it? So, I'm really coming back to, the very basics. Now, if you want to dive into more details.
No, it's up to you.
For whatever reason, that's great. I'm okay with that, but I'm just trying to understand where we're going with this.
Okay, that's a great thing. We can start there and then work our way backwards.
Which is perfectly fine. And the reason
And I guess I would add, for Stockbridge, do we have the data as to currently what proportion of the community or what proportion of customers are at standard 50 and 100?
Yes.
So identify the problem that we're trying to solve from a green community perspective to try and shift the balance to ideally 100%, 100.
Right. And I sent Laura the latest quarterly report. So energy's kind of on a lag. So we're looking at the last quarterly report was as of June 25, right? You had 2 meters in the 50% and 9 meters in the 100. Everyone else was in the standard.
And what's the total denominator?
How many total meters?
Yeah.
So there were 893. So 893 and 11.
893.
So we have 893 meters.
Yep. 2 in the 50 and then 9 in the, so you just add those up. Do I have a total here?
That's pretty bad.
Yeah. On the report.
That's the problem we're trying to solve.
904.
Okay, so that's where I think we should focus in terms, how do we change that 9 into a double or triple digit number?
And I hear your point. What I was trying to get at, and I apologize for the long lead up, is if you're trying to get them into the 100%, are you delivering the value by 100% to buy those RECs is the real question I was trying to get to. And what I want you to know is RPS, and this is what the regular person doesn't understand about the electricity industry. There's a thing called APS. That's an alternative compliance payment. Because all of the RECs now trade at the ceiling, nobody actually buys the RECs to meet RPS. They have to buy them for the 11 people that are in the 1%, the 100% and the 50%. Those are voluntary RECs and they have to be purchased. But the rest of them, they just write a check for that called the ACP. And the reason that's important is because most people think as I buy RECs, I'm going to be driving up the renewables. It's a falsity. That's not true at all, because once they get scarce, you get to the ceiling. And when you get to the ceiling, suppliers don't buy the RECs, because whether they buy the RECs or pay ACP, it's the same price. I'm just going to give you an idea to the magnitude this was done. When you got that discount this winter, the governor said, hey, what they did was they took those dollars out of that ACP bucket and gave them back to everyone.
Right.
That's all they did. So if you think what you're trying to do is get more renewables built. Buying RECs is not going to do it.
Okay, that's clear. So tell me what I did buy. Since I'm one of the 9, tell me what I did get for that.
You supported a renewable energy product built after 1997 in Massachusetts, or qualified in Massachusetts. That's what you did. You bought a renewable energy certificate from a project. Let's call it solar or wind, and it was qualified by the DOER in Massachusetts, built after 1997. That's what you did.
And can we put that in any type of quantitative terms?
Please help me.
You see where I'm going here. I'm trying to do a cost benefit analysis.
Zero.
For the upgrade, for this additional purchase. And you're saying that even qualitatively, I can't say that I'm supporting increased clean energy.
You can say that.
You can say that you're supporting it, but you don't. When you buy a REC, you're supporting an already producing energy, source. So it's not creating anything new. And here's the problem. As I mentioned, the message has been buy more RECs so that we can create new additionality. But the problem is that's in an altruistic supply and demand. That does not exist in the REC market in Massachusetts. It's a falsity. But if you were asking me, what can we do to support that? It was something we call direct investment, meaning the town could support a solar array somewhere and have that built. Now you have changed the grid. You 100% have changed the grid.
The town does that, not the individual. Right?
Well, the individual could put a solar array on their roof and so forth. I'm saying to you, to support something of that size, it takes, say it's a megawatt or 2 megawatts.
Well, I want to, this is very disheartening, I would just say.
For everyone, Laura, I want you to know for everyone.
And because I know that when
Got one, but didn't.
I would buy whatever the Mass Energy product was, they were actually buying the RECs to get a project built. And that's what the developers needed. They need to, in order to finance a wind project or a solar project, they need to show that and to go to the bank and to get it financed, they have to show that they can not only sell the electrons from their wind machine or solar machine, but that they can sell the RECs, which are the environmental attributes. Now, that seems like a pretty clear way that you're helping to finance and support renewable energy.
Correct.
Then there's and that I think the big objection to buying RECs from Texas for their projects that have been on the books for 75 years and they've been generating wind, and now we're buying them cheap and saying, hey, we have renewable energy. I can see that wasn't really of benefit to New England. But in my mind, I'm just saying that in my mind, 1997 isn't that long ago. We're really, I was looking at the online things from 2015, and that, a lot of the information wasn't from yesterday, but it wasn't compared to 1997. It was relatively recent. And all of those educational things about what you're doing when you're buying a REC, or when you're increasing your support for renewable energy, is that, yes, maybe you're giving a little bit more money to someone who's got something on the books. It's been built, it's been financed, it's operational. So yes, you're giving, you could say, okay, it's windfall profits, but it also is showing that there is a sustained market for renewable energy, which can encourage more people to build those. And I would disagree with what the governor did with the compliance payments. I think that's a waste. But when we buy a REC, it means the utility has to either find another REC or pay money. And unfortunately, that's how they chose to spend that money that was paid in, which is just a waste in my mind.
I don't disagree with that. I just want you to know, because we are at the ceiling, the ACP payment and the rec price are the same. So it's the same dollar value. That's why most of the third-party suppliers just make an ACP payment. That there's just no, so today under SMART, all the recs go to the utility directly, right? So they support it, they get the rec, and you just get the energy piece of it. But you're still supporting new generation when you support, something on a SMART, what would be SMART 3 today. But all of those recs go to the utility first, whether or not they sell them in the marketplace or use them to offset their RPS requirements. That's completely up to utility.
But a rec can only be sold once. So if we've bought it, how can you say they're going to the utility?
No, they get sold as many times as they, you think so, right? But if you're buying the rec from, say, the Green Consumers Alliance, you're
From
buying
where?
it from a broker. They don't own that, they don't own the project. They supported the project and they're going to sell the recs. And then they're going to give that money back to the developer. But I'm saying to you, they take care of the rec for them. They're a rec broker. That's
Right, but there's only one rec. But I mean, my understanding is very much that there's one traceable rec and that rec can't be sold more than once. Someone owns that rec.
No, it can be sold as many times. Only one person can retire it, Laura.
Has to be retired.
Yeah.
Once it's retired,
But when
it can't
I
be
buy
resold.
it, I thought it's retired.
That should be 100% a correct statement. That is correct.
Mark's just saying there might be a couple hops to get
There might be
right?
many hops along the way. I'm sure
Okay, but
Laura
that,
tried-
but you're, I mean, I just feel like you're not really supporting you might just be naysayers, but I mean, I think that there's, I mean, you're saying that it's not, I don't know.
No, I just want you to know, I'm not all I'm here to do is make sure I'm delivering to the people the correct information so you get to decide. My job is not to decide what this committee does. All I'm here to do is make sure that you understand how the market functions so that you're not leading someone down the road for something that does not actually deliver the value that you think it's delivering.
Well, I think that as I learned in my economics class, an economist can price everything and doesn't have to value anything. And I feel like there's some underlying values that are being missed in this conversation that have to do with what the positive thing. I mean, yes, it makes me feel good to know that I'm retiring recs from a project. I don't mind that that whoever's that project is making a little bit more money, because that's great. They went out and financed a project and now it's built, and they're not going to, and there's only a certain number of recs and they can only be sold or retired one time. And at this point, we might be at the ceiling, but we might not be at the ceiling forever. I mean, this is a point in time.
No, and I just want to state, and this is my opening statement. Remember, it's not a perfect supply and demand. The best thing I can tell you is I'm going to send this over afterwards. There's 2 documents I want you to see. One of them is all the recs. So the DOER knows exactly how many recs are being produced, exactly how much power we're using. So they're always just tipping the scale. Now, if they decided to, I'm making this, say they move the rec price from 41 to 61 or 81. Well, guess what's going to happen now? Now, all of a sudden, you might get people doing something different because they'd be trading. Now, if they drop the price to $12, you can see what's going to happen as this market is. It's not a true market. It's not supply and demand because there's a ceiling on it. But I want to make sure everyone understands the problem we're up against is because so many people have told you for so long. The guidance by the Department of Energy Resources is, number 1, direct investment. 2, if you can't do direct investment, buy a rec. That's the best way to go about it. unfortunately, that messaging hasn't gotten out to the masses as of yet. There's a tremendous pushback from certain parties. Again, I'm not in the business. My job is just straight education. So I'm indifferent. If you want to push the recs, as long as you understand what you're pushing and the value you get for them, that's your decision, not mine. My job is to make sure that I educate.
Right.
But I don't
We
understand.
need to reduce Laura, again, we need to reduce this to very simple
Yeah,
language.
Right.
yes.
And I
It's
still
the,
don't,
it's the best mechanism you have aside of direct investment. So without building something new and getting the power from that for the aggregation directly, right? Wind, solar,
Right.
this is the best, and you're doing local class one recs. So that's the best mechanism aside of direct investment to support the renewable energy. And that's what you're doing.
so is there any language that exists anywhere that says if I convert to 100% or if the average consumer and you quantitate what the average bill increment would be, or we could even
Yeah.
take the entire, your 893
Yeah,
meters and multiply it
Right, we
by,
can do the offset with the Mark, right? With the
and put
EPA.
put a chart around this and say, so if I'm making up a number, if I'm paying an extra $100 for 100%, some language about what that is buying me, even if it's a historical clean energy contribution or whatever, it's just, the RECs and stuff is just going to tie people up.
Yeah, there's an EPA calculator on our website, I believe, but we can get the usage associated with, right, Mark, with the additional.
I think,
Well, I'm feeling that if we're going to do anything to communicate to our community, we have to be able to tell them what they're getting and what they're not getting for the rate increase. And let them make a decision.
I mean, the way I would say it, and now you can tell me if I'm wrong, is that right now you would be getting, when you pay you're getting 27, well, we'd be getting 27 plus 25% more. We're getting about 33% renewable class one recs. We're getting 27, whatever that is, let's just call, so we're supporting already in our bill because we have to, because they've chosen to do.
But that's going to happen whether
If you don't do anything, your electricity is about 32% renewable through rec purchases. Let's just say through
at the standard.
And Laura, you've been on our website where you looked at the calculator there. I mean, you can even take a look there.
Yeah, there's the calculator.
But if you put your usage in, there's also an EPA calculator right there that tells you.
That's what's going to cost me, but it doesn't tell me what I'm getting for it.
So it's going to give you the offset based on your usage. So you put your usage into there's a calculator to put your usage in by the rate, but there's also a link there to click on the greenhouse gas reduction, the offset, right, for your usage. But we can quantify that instead of individual folks going in and quantifying what their usage offset is. We can take it for the town.
So if you increase to 100%, instead of offsetting the greenhouse gases for the basic product,
Okay.
if you match your
There's an
electric,
incremental-
you're getting
An additional offset is what you're saying?
Yes.
So it can be quantitated.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then we're done. I mean, if there's a mechanism by which I can put a quantitative value on my option,
Right. So,
and then that quantitative value is in terms of offsets.
right. So how much you're
then
offset.
it's potentially explainable to the average citizen.
I mean, it's not explained. I mean, I think what Mark is doing is telling us underneath
I understand
that there are a lot of flaws in this system for a lot of reasons, because it's not a true marketplace by any stretch of the imagination. But you just said, I think, the key piece, which is that, and I'm going to use myself as an example, if you can't build it yourself and you can't put solar on your house, the best way to support renewable energy And the cheapest way to support renewable energy is to match the additional electrons with renewable RECs. Is that a fair statement?
That's a fair statement. As long as you don't mention additionality, I'm 100% on board with exactly what you just said.
Whatever language is required.
Okay,
that's accurate.
okay. If you can, I mean, I didn't write that down, but I think that's really what I want to make sure of, is that's an honest way to say that we're supporting that. And like for myself, for example, I put solar on my roof, but then I sold the RECs. So I can't sort of legally say that I'm generating renewable energy because I sold the renewable energy, the credits to the system to help me pay for the system. So I got money for my RECs, for my environmental attributes, for my system. Now, do I still say, yeah, I'm producing renewable energy? It just so happened that I got an income stream for part of it. I mean,
It's behind the meter, though. You're a little different, Laura, just so you know. Your energy could be behind the meter, so you could. I hear what you're saying. Technically, the REC is gone, but you're behind your meter using that electricity. So
right, exactly. It's coming into my house, so I'm using 100% renewable, but someone else owns that.
Yep.
Those
and the windmill
credits.
doesn't come to anyone's house, is all I'm saying to you. Like, if you're buying the REC, it doesn't end up at your house.
Right, exactly. So that's something. Now, but I've been talking a lot.
I
Who's not
I
clear?
just have another question to follow up on this.
Yeah, go on.
Just again, just trying to put this into, so what would happen? What would the impact be if all of a sudden Stockbridge and all the other towns that are in your program, 50% of them went up to 100? 50% of the meters went up to 100. What would that impact be? I mean,
0.
so why should we be asking people to opt in? I'm still, if you're saying it has
But
no
when you're asking
impact.
an economic question, you're asking what the impact would be. I'm saying to you, the impact would be 0, right? We're buying RECs, nothing new's getting built. What we're doing is supporting an industry in a sense, right? Because there's REC brokers and the whole bit, but only people that were 100%, only the difference between what you needed to buy, that's the only thing that would be purchased. The rest of it would still be an ACP payment, at least what we're seeing suppliers do today.
In that scenario, would it create incentive for the industry to create more?
I'll say this. The only thing today that incentivizes new development is a state-sponsored program. So you're going to see a bunch of smart solar being built right now because, they're being sponsored. There was a bunch of a huge push for offshore wind, ITC, the investment tax credit. Those dollars are what literally incentivize people to do certain things. That's why under SMART they say, hey, if you're willing to give the power to low-income customers, give the benefit, we'll enhance this. And that's what gets people to act. And unfortunately, it's not a straight market. It's almost like saying you and I build a building, and literally the building is here and I've completely rented out. That doesn't mean I'm going to build another building because that building is completely rented out. I may or I may not, depending on how I see things. It's not different in this marketplace other than it's not completely supply and demand driven because DOER sets the ceiling price. And then there's a thing called an ACP payment that gets those RECs out of the marketplace, meaning if everyone had to buy the RECs all the time, now we'd have a different marketplace completely. To your point, now all of a sudden there'd be a scarcity of RECs. And once you had a scarcity of RECs, it would drive up the price. Now you may have a situation where, but that's existing assets receiving the extra revenue, not someone that's new. I don't know.
But there are, right. But there are, like I know, whatever, Mass Energy, they buy RECs to support projects that are going to be built. They
can't buy RECs that are going to be built because you don't get a REC before it starts to produce electricity. So they'll enter into contracts
with developers for the recs so that the developers can get the financing.
That is a
And
correct
then the
statement.
project can be built.
I completely agree with that statement, Laura. 100%. They
Okay.
said, we'll move your recs. I'm a rec broker. I'm in the business of moving recs. I will take those and sell them in the marketplace. 100%. Yes.
Right.
But I just want you to know, unless there's a program supporting that right now, I don't see a lot of development. I don't know if you guys noticed the fall off in solar when SREC 2 was going out before 3 started. Not a lot of development. Right now, the ITC is going away and Smart 3 started. Huge amount of solar development going on in Massachusetts right now, a huge buzz. Completely different. And unfortunately, again, I want to make sure everyone's clear. I'm with you. Recs, they're a good thing. They're not a bad thing. But from an economic standpoint, there's better ways to spend your money to affect the grid, If you're looking to make that investment, this group should get together and say, hey, the town wants to support a solar array somewhere, and the town's going to take that into effect with their aggregation. And now you have affected the grid. You've taken off, you put new solar on, and it will not, at some point, it will be the marginal, right? That marginal unit that would have come on won't come on.
Well, that's a good idea.
A direct investment is what I'm saying to you. But again, we're with the rec.
But the town builds them.
What?
The town builds these.
Well, because, I mean, right now the town is going to, I mean, our goal with the town in becoming a climate leader is for the town to apply for a grant to put solar in the highway garage so that the town would be doing that. Now, I don't think the town would be selling the recs. It would just be paying less money for electricity and bringing new renewables on.
It's under Smart 3, so no one would be selling the recs because the recs all go to the utility.
Okay, if we get a grant, then those recs go to the utility, so they become part of the RPS or whatever they need to buy to satisfy their requirements.
I'm still very confused.
Yeah, I guess I'd like to know, let me ask a question.
So yeah, go on, ask it. You should wind up this
Yeah,
conversation.
if 800 people agree to go to 50 or 100, where does the rec discussion come into play? I don't understand that.
If you're going to,
I mean,
go on. Okay, you can answer that. If I switch to 100%,
that's why I'm sort of asking if all of a sudden 50% of the people went, and you're saying the impact was 0. I'm looking at your rate calculator, and there's a line here that says if I opt up, I'm going to be able to calculate the actual additional greenhouse gas reduction achieved.
Yes.
Wow. But so there is impact. I'm hearing mixed messages here.
No mixed message here. So by using that solar, I'm saying I'm supporting that project. Me supporting that project, because I'm doing that, I get to take the value for those recs, right? But I want to make sure that we're hearing what I'm saying, right? But the value is, how do I want to state this to you? In the scenario that we're talking about, everyone went to 100%. We haven't changed. That project is already running. You have not changed the grid at all.
I understand.
It's identical to what it is today. So have you done anything? Yeah, yes, I've spent more for my electricity, but I have not changed the grid by a kilowatt. If you then have something built, even if it's small, that kilowatt that gets put on helps the grid because some other unit doesn't have to run because of it. But unfortunately, people are saying that it's additionality, meaning I buy this and I have changed the grid. It's impossible to buy a rec that changes the grid. It's already been built.
Right. So it's basically a difference between forward-looking and backward-looking is what you're saying. So this calculator is telling me how much my opt-in contributed to historical greenhouse gas reduction.
That is
right?
a correct statement. That is 100%.
Okay. Yep. But then I can assign a personal value to that.
Right. 100%. I agree, and we'll continue to do that, right? It doesn't stop, but I'm saying to you, if we're trying to move forward, and remove carbon. Supporting that project does zero. You're asking me, what am I doing? I'm saying to you, you're not doing anything. You're supporting that existing project, but you're not changing the grid. You're asking
I
to
get it.
change the grid. That's the
Right.
real question here
To
originally,
change
right?
the grid, we have to build something.
You have to
That
build
is-
some,
that-
or
Run it.
the marketplace has to change. If they change the ceiling. I mean, the fact is the price that we're paying, the utilities, even if there aren't enough recs, they just put the money into the fund.
Got it.
So there's not, I think that's the reason. It's like you create these things to affect the marketplace, and then the utilities saying, hey, we can't afford to pay XYZ for recs, we'll go out of business. So the DOER said, okay, we'll put a ceiling on it. Well, now our price is the same as the ceiling. So, what's going on? But that's, it's still, I think the bottom line to me is what you said, is that if you can't put solar on your home because you have trees, and you can't put wind, and you can't do all of these other things, the best option right now is to match as much of your load as possible with renewable energy and feel good about what you're doing for a minimal amount of money.
And I 100%, again, I'm going to 100% support that last statement. 100%. 100% I support it.
But it's
I
not,
do
it's,
No, I get it.
You have-
But
you have to- you
then
have
I
to-
think the question is, do we as a committee want to embrace that and then push it forward as an educational public statement, through whatever resources we have, websites, Stockbridge updates, whatever, to push that message or not? And that's a separate discussion, right?
right. I think it's a separate discussion. I think what we would want to do, I think there's so many caveats if someone was to challenge, is this really worth doing?
That's right.
That it's not going to be like, oh, we can't do a hard sell, because I think what you're saying is, anyone can watch the tape of this conversation because we're being recorded and see that this is not a done deal of benefits, but it's not a negative, and we can just say what it is, and people have the choice, really.
Yeah. I think it requires a longer, deeper discussion
think we
within
should-
the committee.
we have to think
If it's something
about it.
that we want to promote
Yeah.
for the town.
I think-
Do we as a committee want the town to see a higher proportion of meters opting up? Just philosophically, do we want to do that? That's the question in my mind.
A question, Denise, is if you have the data, are there meters that have opted out of aggregation in Stockbridge?
Yeah, there's meters that have opted out. So what we get originally is we have a list of everyone that was on basic service. So originally those folks were all, and we sent out a postcard for third-party supply, so those people could have opted in, but yeah, people opted out.
Do you have numbers?
Of how many people opted out initially?
Yes.
So currently,
Yeah.
Or currently, yeah. You said
Yep.
893 meters were currently
Well,
enrolled.
yeah, let me see. Hold on, let me find what I sent Michael at launch.
893
Yep.
meters
So,
are
all
in.
right, so we had a slight problem with the mail, right? So that Laura already knows about. So we originally mailed to 1,427 accounts that were on basic service. Okay, 65 opted out. And then 25 opted in because we sent a postcard to those on third-party supply. But the one variable that we were talking about earlier was we have to use the mailing addresses that and I think this might be something else that you want to kind of promote in town. We have to use the mailing address that National Grid gives us. National Grid does not have the PO boxes for most of the addresses in Stockbridge. So mailings went to folks' service
mine went to New Jersey.
Right, they give us a list, and that's what we have to mail to by statute. So
they have-
a lot
they have
of
a
the
physical
mail
list.
came back, right? We had like 300 mailings that came back. And you're
Okay.
not allowed to
Wow.
enroll, you're not allowed to enroll those.
Yeah, that's,
So what we need to do is let people know that they should that they can opt in and
Yes, there's
save
a
money.
program, this is the National Grid rate, this is, look, you can save money. And hey, by the way, maybe you want to consider opting up if you're so inclined, but at least
Yeah.
opt in.
And you're going to send us all those numbers so we can get them in the minutes and we can work with it.
So what do you want? That was at launch in the spring. You want what numbers?
Well-
How many people are enrolled now?
Well, what, I mean,
Oh,
if there are 1,427 accounts and you have 893 meters being served,
It's a-
900.
Those 1,400 were on basic service. There are more accounts than that because there were folks on third-party supply. Like, I can't get the total number from National Grid. I'd have to request a basic service list and a third-party supply list and add those two numbers together. They still don't give us folks with supplier blocks, but that would get you in the ballpark.
Okay, but even with what you have, there's between 900 and 1,400, what's that? 600? That means that there's 600, 500 people that are lost because, like me, well, like me.
We got 400 undeliverable pieces of mail back when we launched. I'm gonna look at how many people we just mailed the postcard to. Folks that are enrolled.
Maybe we should try to
We're
fix that.
debating Rex and we
should try
have
to
a
fix that.
fundamental problem here that we're not even.
Right,
Oh,
because
yeah.
people
And we-
really have their service addresses on the National Grid and
Right.
not
And we
their
did mention
mailing
this too.
address.
We did mention
So
this
what's the
tonight.
best way for people to enroll? There are two things that you have to do, right? One is you have to change your address with National Grid, but I didn't do that. I mean, I did that
So I would
2
say at
weeks
this point,
ago.
for
Or call,
administrative purposes, I think it's probably good to update even if you're getting an electronic bill, it's always good to have your mailing address correct with National Grid.
There's
in
two
case-
places on the electric grid account. We had to go.
like me, I just called I called Direct Energy and gave them my utility account number and my
Right.
address, and they could enroll me with that.
Right.
They
So it's
didn't-
good to get your mailing address updated. So if there are any future communications coming from us, they get to you. A. B. Yes, you would need to opt in. So you can either call us and opt in, or you can go on the website, or you can call the supplier. You can, there's multiple, and a lot of that information was on the information I gave Michael for the public notice for the
Call
new
you
rate.
guys directly? Call you? Don't you want us to call the
I don't
supplier?
think we should
Nope,
work
you
it
can
here.
call
I
us.
think we
We'll
should
just-
get this information in writing and then come up with
Right.
a plan.
I mean, I
as
can
how-
send you
how to
I can
address
send you
it.
the opt-in instructions. I can
That
resend you
would
the
be
public
great.
notice that I sent Michael. and the
Okay.
press- the
I
press
think
release
I think what we need to do, here's what I would suggest, is that each of you, as our own group, think to yourself, do I want to buy 50% or 100% with what I've learned today? Like be our own little group to.
Like a test group,
What?
like a test group.
Yeah, like just see what we see
Representative of our
and
town.
think about it, and then we can talk about it, because there's a lot of good information. And, it's not nothing, it's just not 100%. That's what I would
We
say.
have to, but going back to the distribution list, people are falling through the cracks.
And those people are spending more money than they need to.
So that's, I think our first agenda item is to figure out where the cracks are.
Right.
And try and fill them through communications, through notification. When Michael gets back, I think he's either aware of this and is.
He's aware of it.
not-
Yep.
Not
He's aware,
being
and-
empowered to do anything, but we should work with Michael to figure out how do we get the 500 people who are, in Never Never Land right now.
And get their mailing addresses maybe, and then
Get them
just
into
something.
aggregation.
Yeah,
At least get basic
at
aggregation.
least the standard rate.
Right.
Okay.
It's
I mean,
better
Is that a
Because-
project we can work with you on, or that, Michael, we can do that, figure that out?
I'll send you over the communications that I gave to him for November with all the public, it has all the opt-in information on it and everything. And,
Great. Okay.
yeah, so you can.
Okay.
communicate. Yep.
I think we've probably taken up enough of your time. I don't know how I'm going to write this up, but we'll figure that out.
I think if you write it up with, what some of the issues are, not get into the details and just.
Right, exactly.
Here are some potential actions that we need to take and pursue additional questions. You've given us an action to each of us, go figure it out for our own personal.
Yeah, just think
examples.
about it. I think there's a lot to
And
reflect on.
we can use that as part of the educational, here are some examples. I think showing people National Grid a picture of their national grid bill and where they need to look on the bill for the information that's relevant. I didn't know about any of this.
Right.
And
Yeah,
most
and
people are.
I can send you the sample bill. We gave that over at launch of where folks can look. That was
Great.
That would be great.
PDF that was
Yeah.
shared at launch.
Very, very good. And I think we've
Yeah.
kind of had this now we've had a good conversation.
I do have one question. Are there other communities that are basically, I feel like we're struggling here, that have gone through this process, and maybe there's some literature or some cards or something some way that they process to communicate to their constituents? I don't know, are we the first doing this, or are there other communities that have done it?
So I'm going to say to you, I'm going to send over, I'll get Denise over to you, kind of the DOER's current language around how they see the best steps forward. And you'll see, direct investment, and then you'll see, mass class ones and those things. We've met with many committees like yourself. And I'll tell you that the gentleman, there's two gentlemen that we've met with, but the committee is very strong in a community called Shutesbury. They've done a lot of research. His name is Nate, and he is coming around exactly the way you are after we spoke to him. And he originally wanted to push mass class ones, and after doing his own research and figuring out exactly how the market works, he was saying, I'm not so certain we're going to be pushing that. Yeah. I hear what you want to push, and I'm comfortable with it because given the group here and what you're looking to do, I think there's value in what you're trying to get done. Meaning, hey, listen, we're trying to clean the grid the best we can, and the best we can do right now is support renewable energy projects that are running. That's the best we can do. He feels like, hey, if we can make a different approach, then that's something he would like to do. I have not seen any language from him around how he's going to make that approach with the community, though. I'll tell you this. Tonight, I'm in front of there's a whole, their program's just kicking off in December. So we have an information session tonight. If I can get Nate's attention, I'll find out if they've made any determination how they wish to message this moving forward.
And could you ask him if he would mind if you shared his contact information with me?
100%. No, I have no trouble with that.
That'd be great.
Yep.
Yeah. This is extremely useful. This has been a very painful but useful hour.
I just want you to know we're happy to come back anytime you want to have the conversation.
We totally appreciate it. Totally appreciate it.
Okay.
And I know, and I'll just say to you and everyone, Denise is so responsive and available. So, and you are too. So it's appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, Denise and Mark, thank you.
It's nice to meet the group. Have a great day. Yep.
Okay.
Bye now.
All righty. Bye. Okay.
I'm sorry to be so.
No, you were fine.
Well,
Everything was good. No, we were getting
sort
too
of,
in the weeds.
I fire live by
You were
meeting.
kind of, for me, you were just one step ahead of me. I'm like, yeah.
We need to, what's the problem and what's the solution? And to uncover that those 500.
I mean, I think one of the, it's very interesting because this isn't going to go in. We're not being recorded anymore, right?
It says record on there.
Because we are.
Yeah, we are.
Oh, yeah. So
Can we?
oh, we're on Zoom. I think
Yeah, we have to stay on Zoom.
stay on. Anyway, we'll write this up. I think we can all reflect on it. I mean, they're not I know there are other aggregations where they really are more, they might be brokers like the Mass Energy, but they also do a lot of more due diligence in the projects that they incorporate into their portfolio. So this is
their portfolio.
No, not into their portfolio.
No, but they have their own portfolio.
Exactly.
Got it.
And they go out like the other aggregators, like the Green Energy Consumers Alliance, they actually go out and choose the projects to buy the RECs from. This is much more the system. So he's being honest about that.
And I think if we try to explain the marketplace to our constituency, they'll just gloss over and
Yeah,
throw their
and say,
hands
I don't
up. We
think-
have to reduce this to very simplistic. What does this mean for me
Yeah.
terms?
Yeah.
And not get into the marketplace of.
Right.
It's something that can go on a cart.
Yeah,
It's gotta be that simple.
the elevator speech,
Yeah.
the classic.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So let's.
Well, I have one question, just in terms of these 500 people. That seems like, is that a priority? I mean, what's
Yeah.
the priority here? 'Cause
I
it
think
just like-
I think that's much more of a priority.
Yeah, and just, that's where we start.
So you agree that once Michael gets back, we should, gather the information she's gonna send us, sort of look at what Michael has on his desk that he's also received and come up jointly with a plan as to what our first steps should be around
I think
making
that's,
sure we're capturing, 99% of the Stockbridge community.
Yeah.
right.
Is there a, I mean, because it sounds like the problem is National Grid does not have post office boxes for Stockbridge. Can we?
Because, right,
can we sort of
because they do
supersede-
everything by physical address.
Right. Can we supersede that process? And I mean, does somebody have, I assume the town
The
does,
assessor's office.
a database of, the post office boxes? Can we just go that route? And
Right. Or maybe, I think
Well,
that's
why
the,
there's two-
that's the
there's two
next.
Places on the National Grid. One was the physical address, because that's their service address.
Yeah.
But there's another place, which is your mailing address.
Yes.
And we had to go into both, because, this was set to New Jersey,
Yeah.
which was a former mailing address. And until I saw this, then we went into the
That's
National Grid system and
Right.
changed it.
Right.
After calling them and saying, well, we get it from National Grid.
I think
So
that,
that is a first step, is to inform people. They go to National Grid first and make sure your mailing address is correct and up to date.
or you can do it either way. You can just get enrolled in the aggregation if that's what you want, and then go to, like that's how I did it. Because I didn't realize that it was my mailing address, so I just called the number with my
And
account.
future communication will be lost if they don't take care of their mailing
Right.
address.
Right,
You don't want your credit card going to the bill going to the.
right, no, I know.
This is no different and no less important.
Some people like myself have 3 meters. Different physical places, but one mailing address. So how do we get at that number? Like, how many meters are we talking about versus
So
Right,
that's a great.
customers?
But each of your meters is associated with that mailing address. So you probably,
Mailing address, but different physical addresses.
right.
oh, they have different field,
Right.
let's say you have 3 meters, well, I don't know.
You should be getting 3 postcards then.
Are you in the
That
aggregation?
one.
Yes,
For all of them,
right.
so they figured that out.
Interesting.
But they figured out, but we don't know what those numbers are, like how many meters are out there in the
No.
town and, right?
I think we,
Mailing addresses, so the 500 we're talking about, are those 500 meters or 500 mailing addresses?
I think we should, yeah.
Said you got-
Well, they're 500 they're probably, I don't know,
Said they got
Right.
about 400 and something back
Because I'm one customer.
of mailings.
right? They-
And are a portion of those third-party suppliers?
Apparently.
No, if you're a third part, no, I think if you're a third party supplier, if you have a different supplier, I don't think you got the postcard. So they're all good questions. We weren't really thinking about that. Well, now we'll find out.
So it's
And-
above the 1,400, whatever the.
Right, yeah, but it's somewhere around there. I mean, whatever that is, it's 14 plus or minus. Okay, well, that's what we learned, and that's really important.
Yeah.
Because that's a way to save a lot of people.
In the utility business and
If you're saving at least $4 a month for people, depending on, on average usage, whatever that's $50. Is that right? 4 times is $50 a year. And
Yeah.
times 1,000 people or 1,400 people. Or no, it's not, it's 500 people.
But
So, that would be a good thing.
that would be huge if we could.
Yeah, I'm sure, we'll talk to Michael. I think I think he'll be supportive of that because he wants this. This is his pet project.
This is-
This is what he loves.
So let's optimize it.
Should we just go through I don't think we have to do any of the updates, really. I can just do them in 1 second if you.
I have to leave if you.
Yeah, well, we all want to leave. I thought this was going to be a 15-minute conversation, but it wasn't. But that's okay. I mean, we all learned
We
something.
did.
And I think Yeah, I mean, their sales, I mean, I want to tell you this. If they were really doing this, they would have these conversations before, but his approach is, we'll give the community what they want. So it's sort of like there isn't really that conversation before you choose. It's like, oh, you want renewables? Okay, we'll get you Rex. And then when you want to try to do that. Okay, so the annual report is ready to go. I'm waiting for Michael to get back and I'll submit it. I have to get you on the, so that you can look at this software. I have to get you approved for that, for read only for the software. The climate leader designation, I think we don't know when they're going to announce it. That no one's officially told us we're going to be approved, but we have been encouraged to submit the application for technical assistance. So I'm hoping that
That's great.
the folks from now are coming out. The project that we're looking for is looking at the whole DPW complex, putting solar on the roof of the DPW building and maybe the salt shed, and doing things to weatherize whatever has to be weatherized as one project. And
Has that already been scoped, that project?
we're waiting. I mean, hopefully the solar people came out here while Mike was away.
Okay.
And then I had a conversation with the Guardian people, and they're, I think, waiting for that too. They were also going to look at the roof of the structural issues with the DPW building. And I don't know exactly what Guardian's going to do, but they're going to look at the other issues that are besides the solar. We're waiting for the,
Laura, on the climate leader, do we have any PR plan once we are officially notified?
No,
Should we?
I think we just have to wait for DOER. I don't
No, and once we're notified, do we want to have some PR around it? That's the question.
Sure. I mean, yeah, we could do that.
What does that look like?
I don't know.
At least on the town's website, right?
We could do this town website and the Stockbridge updates.
That's it.
I mean, like right now, I think everyone's tired and everything else. Let's just put it on the next.
We do individual mailings and all that.
No, I'm just thinking, do we want to do any, just a little media release, to Eagle and Edge?
It will also, we can put it we can do something on the website. We can do something in the Stockbridge updates. We can do things. Yeah, we can do the Edge. I mean, I think there'll be a bunch of stuff, but I think we can do that, small things. And then
The agenda for the next meeting, then we can sort
we'll
of
put that on, and then.
be prepared to do that.
Yep. And then the other thing, every year we submit an annual report to the town, so it'll go out in the town report.
Okay.
So but I think those are good. And then I'm pretty sure, I mean, we have the signs that we were designated green community. I'm assuming they'll probably put signs up around that we're also a climate leader. We might get
Well, the
those.
green community signs, there's one in the information booth, but I don't know where the others are.
I think there's one on town, on the police station, right on that door.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. I've seen towns
With signs, like when you enter into the town, underneath the,
Like it,
so something that talked to Mike, I know that he hates signs, but.
he hasn't even done that one. I mean, yeah.
if there is a sign, I'm just wondering if it's something that is worth promoting under the one or two of the Stockbridge, entering Stockbridge signs. Climate leader community.
Yeah. Let's get
Yeah,
a
it doesn't
DOT
have to be a
permit.
big, that's actually, it doesn't have to be a big thing.
No, it's just a little,
Right.
It's
kind of like a little rotary sign,
yeah, like a rotary sign. It's the same kind of thing, but it's PR, it's promotion of what
I think
we're
it's
doing.
great. I think that
It's
we,
awareness for the community.
that would be terrific. And then the source policy, Michael's just been saying he's waiting till there are 3 select boards. The street lighting, nothing's happened with the downtown street lighting, but that's a national grid. The charging station, I don't know if there's anything more we want to do on community awareness except for get the larger sign. And I think the only other thing on the gaps and the synergies is, Tim, if you're going to follow up with our tree warden
Yeah,
at some point.
yep.
That was a low hanging fruit we identified, right? Right.
Right.
then.
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. That she would just be a
Start
good
there.
person to talk to.
So, yep.
And that's it, really, for today. I mean, this was really pretty,
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. I mean, I think this is.
Why we have
I think
meetings
it's
in the
really
morning.
good to have.
I just have to say, there are utility owners that I've worked with as a consultant, and they have a problem with all these things as well.
Oh, yeah.
Who's connected? How do we get information out to them? I mean, it's not just a 1 hour seminar. It's like what they worry about
Yeah.
as part of their job.
Yeah.
And it's not easy,
Yeah.
even if you're in the business.
Very complicated.
So for us to compete with that level of, communications that a utility does
Right.
is very difficult.
But there might be like like when the town sends out its tax letters, to everybody, maybe they can just put in a flyer about this, because everyone gets their we can think about, brainstorm a way to get to everybody who might not have heard about it, or just think about other things.
Water and sewer bill, the town tax bill,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we can just try to do that and brainstorm that and talk to Mike and talk to whoever else, the tax assessor or whatever. We can do that. I mean, I think that's really worth doing as community service.
Yeah, and that doesn't cost very much.
No,
Stick something
it just saves people money. Let's just entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Miles, second.
A second.
Good to see everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Steve.